Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Rachel. I saw a reel on Instagram the other day, some guy talking about aging in a funny way, and he said something that really struck a chord with me. He was talking about how he's noticed that as you get older, the things that give you pleasure get more specific. Not boring necessarily, although 25-year-old me would absolutely think so. I didn't save it and I didn't like it, so of course I can't find it now. But it made me think of this past weekend when my husband and I drove an hour and a half with some Jeep friends to have lunch at a restaurant on a lake. Except lunch turned into hanging out all day, and hanging out all day turned into dinner with the same people. And no, I was not drinking all day. I was just enjoying the company. At some point, my husband looked at me and said, "We need to do this more often," and that this was basically not doing much of anything, but doing it with friends. If you had handed me that plan in my 20s, I would have been totally unimpressed, because in my 20s, fun had to have a way more exciting agenda. Were you doing something cool with the right people? It wasn't just about having a good time. It was about being seen having a good time. These days, we are not even subtle about it. Being seen means posting it so everybody else can see it too and feel a little jealous, or at least like they're missing out. Same instinct, just a bigger audience. Nobody tells you that the seen part was never the point. We spent so much energy chasing what we thought would make us happy. Turns out, most of it never actually did. Now, I realize that the stuff that actually makes me happy and content is ridiculously small and simple. A good cup of coffee, fresh sheets on the bed, because I swear I sleep better. I do not know what that is all about, but I do. Watching my dog lose his mind over absolutely nothing in the backyard. A tomato out of my own garden that tastes like something, unlike every single tomato you buy at a store. An afternoon with a friend that doesn't need an agenda, sitting on the porch watching the world go by, doing absolutely nothing else. I mean, I have a favorite grocery store now. I own t-shirts that genuinely make me happy to put on. My Jeep is a terrible daily driver. It's impractical, and I love it anyway. I don't mind doing nothing anymore, which used to feel like defeat and now just feels like a really good day. I get thrilled, actually thrilled, over a really good pillow. I have a spot on the couch that is just mine, so call me Sheldon. I have a favorite mug. 25-year-old me would be rolling her eyes so hard right now. Old lady vibes, she'd say, and she'd laugh at me. Seriously, we need to stop listening to younger us. These are not old lady vibes. They're simple pleasure vibes. Reality has smacked me upside the head, and it turns out reality was right. We spend our 20s, our 30s, probably our 40s acquiring and trying so hard, chasing the next thing, the better thing, the thing that'll finally prove something. And then one day you look around and you go, why did I waste all that time and money on stupid crap that I don't really care about or need? I think we have built this whole cultural story around this shift like it's some kind of a loss. Like your capacity for joy shrank with age and you're settling for the little stuff because the big stuff just isn't available to you anymore. Or your body just can't take it the way it used to. Or you're just old and boring. What a crock of bullshit. That is not what's happening. I think that you get more precise, not less alive. You stop needing volume to feel something. You know what you actually like instead of what you're supposed to like, and you stop caring whether anybody's impressed by any of it. Somebody actually figured this out, the simple, precise, contented kind of life that I just described. They wrote it down, they taught it a couple thousand years ago, before Instagram Reels existed. And here's the irony. The word that came from his name means the exact opposite of what he taught. Epicurean. You know the word. Somebody who loves fine wine, expensive food, somebody with refined, luxurious tastes. That's what we mean when we call someone an Epicurean today. Except the word Epicurean is derived from the name Epicurus, And that definition is about as close to the exact opposite of what he actually taught as you can get. Epicurus was a Greek philosopher who ran a school out of his garden. And yeah, he taught that pleasure was the highest good, which got him in a lot of trouble with people who didn't bother reading past the headline, which I might add is still a massive problem today, 2,000 years later. What he actually meant by pleasure was peace of mind, freedom from pain and worry, a simple life, not a full one. Well, full, just not in the way we measure full these days. Less noise, not less life. The man lived on bread and water, occasionally cheese if he was feeling wild, and he spent his days talking with friends. He invited women and slaves to share his company. I mean, gasp! That was radical at the time, you know. Surely something scandalous was happening. But in actuality, he specifically warned against chasing luxury because he said the fancier your pleasures get, the more anxious you become about losing them. Wine and money and status don't calm you down. They give you something new to be afraid of losing. The man made some powerful enemies. People scorned his reclusive life and his subversive teaching. So when word got out that this guy was teaching that pleasure is the whole point of life, people heard party. The Stoics, who were basically his rival school, ran with that and, by some accounts, helped turn Epicurean into an insult, a stand-in for gluttony and excess. Later on, the early church took a swing at it too, and somewhere along the way, the meaning flipped again, from insult to compliment, from glutton to connoisseur. 2,000 years of a smear campaign, and it worked. Now, words are powerful things. Repeat something enough times, even something false, and it stops sounding false. It just sounds true. Meanwhile, the guy it's named after was over here saying that the whole secret of is wanting less, not more. And it turns out he wasn't the only one who landed there. Thich Nhat Hanh has this line about how most suffering comes from a kind of craving, a constant reaching for something other than what's already in front of you. He talked about learning to recognize when you already have enough. Not resignation, just recognition. Non-craving, he called it. That's the coffee, the sheets, the dog acting like an idiot in the yard for no reason, and the friends to just hang out with and talk and laugh. Enough, already sitting right there, waiting for you to stop looking past it. And if enough is what this looks like right now, old age might be where it actually pays off. Cicero wrote an entire essay defending old age, back when everybody assumed that getting old just meant losing things one at a time until there was nothing left. He argued the opposite, that old age isn't a subtraction, it's an arrival. You finally get to what you actually want instead of what your hormones or your ego or the people around you wanted for you. You know, there is a couple of popular phrases about growing older. Don't regret growing older. It's a privilege denied to many, which was, to me, something old people said to make themselves feel better about losing their knees. Now, I just think it's true. And youth is wasted on the young stopped sounding like a curmudgeon comment to me a while back. Now, it just sounds like somebody who finally figured out what all that acquiring and proving was actually about, and wishes they could have just skipped ahead to the now. We don't age like a carton of milk. We age like a good hard cheese, sharper, more complex, better the longer it sits. Epicurus would approve. I mean, don't let anyone tell you otherwise, yourself included. We don't get boring as we get older. We get specific. We know what we like. We know what we want, and we have stopped needing anybody's permission or approval to enjoy it. You might think you're getting boring. I think you're getting accurate. And look, some days this doesn't feel like an arrival. I get that. It feels like your knees are renegotiating the terms of your relationship without your consent. Fair enough. But Cicero wrote that whole defense of old age at the actual end of his own life, not from some safe philosophical distance. Bad knees and all, probably. And he still called it an arrival, not a retreat. If you are younger and you're watching this, you don't have to wait until your 50s or 60s or older to find this, and I hope you don't. A Simple Life is there, just waiting for you to find it and enjoy it. Now, you know me by now. There's always a song or two that gets stuck in my head. There is an old Joe Cocker song called The Simple Things, and there's a newer one by Neo, and with basically the same title. Different decade, same idea. I love, love, love the Neo one. Funny how the same title keeps getting rediscovered. I'll link them both in the description so you can go give them a listen. Okay, that is all I've got today. Thanks for watching. Take care of you, and I will see you the next time. Bye-bye.